This president we have now is the worst president we've ever had in the history of the country. And what I want to say to you tonight as I introduce Hillary Clinton is that what we need most now is somebody that doesn't need on-the-job training. I say nothing at all negative about any of the other candidates. They're good candidates. They have every reason to be running for president. But we need the person with the intellect, the heart, the intelligence, the ability, the experience to walk into that Oval Office on day one and lead the people of this country to make this country what it ought to be, and that's Hillary Clinton.
And I'm running for president because I know we can do better. I know it, and I believe that together we will again. But you know, it's not enough just to want change. It's not enough just to say you're for change. You have to know where you're headed and how you're going to get there. You've got to be willing to set out some goals about what you want to see happen in America and the world. So I'm running for president with a very clear idea based on 35 years of experience about what I can do as your president and what I need you to help me do. Number one, I want to restore America's leadership in the world. That starts with ending the war in Iraq and bringing our troops home as quickly and responsibly as we possibly can. I don't care what problem you're worried about, whether it's global terrorism or global warming or global epidemics or global competition. You cannot possibly expect to have us create a world that is safer and more prosperous if the United States doesn't lead with our values, lead with our ideals. You know, you cannot be a leader if no one is following. And right now, that's the kind of situation we find ourselves in. I have said I'm not even going to wait till I'm inaugurated. As soon as I'm elected, I'm going to be asking distinguished Americans of both parties to travel around the world on my behalf with a very simple message. The era of cowboy diplomacy is over. Get back to fiscal responsibility, which is something Dick Gephardt worked on with my husband, and it helped to spark one of the greatest economic expansions in the history of America. 22.7 million new jobs, more people lifted out of poverty than any time in American history. How many of you, might be yourself, have insurance, except you've had to fight with an insurance company to get the insurance company to pay for what your doctor said you needed in terms of the health care you required? See, we got two problems. We got the problem of people without any insurance, and we've got the problem of people with insurance who pay their premiums, except when they need it, the insurance company won't pay. So here's what I'm going to do to solve both. If you have insurance and you're happy with it, nothing changes. You keep what you have. But if you're uninsured, or maybe you've got a policy that doesn't cover your pre-existing condition, or it's too expensive for what you get out of it, we are going to open up the congressional plan, because that plan takes really good care of members of Congress and federal employees. And we're going to open it up to every American. Most of us here tonight, we know that a family is a child's first school. You may not think of yourselves that way, but you are. And parents are a child's first teachers. So we're going to try to do more to help parents, particularly parents that might be young, might not, really know what to do. We're going to try to do more to help them. I brought a program to Arkansas the home instruction program for preschool youngsters, where we worked with mothers to help them teach their own children. And then I want to have a pre-kindergarten program for 4-year-olds with an emphasis on those who are disadvantaged, to give them a chance to get those, teaching methods and that, learning that'll give them a good beginning when they finally go to school. And then once you're in school, I'm going to end the unfunded mandate known as No Child Left Behind. I mean, when you think about all the work we're going to have to do after George Bush and Dick Cheney leave, we're going to have to clean house. We might have to have, thousands of Americans come with your brooms and your vacuum cleaners and just clean house. Because when you think about the record of cronyism and corruption and no-bid contracts and incompetence, it is just heartbreaking. And of course we all know, because we couldn't avoid seeing what happened along the Gulf Coast when our fellow citizens were left on their own by a government that was indifferent, insensitive, and incompetent. And it is a disgrace and an outrage. So I have an old-fashioned idea. How about appointing qualified people for the jobs we asked them to hold in the government again? So there's going to be work for all of us to do. That's what's so exciting to me about this. After 9/11, especially as a senator from New York, I waited for the president to ask us all to share in the sacrifice that was required. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited. I don't know if you remember what he asked us to do. Go shopping. Well, look, I like to shop, but that's not exactly, setting our eyes on the stars like President Kennedy, or telling us that all we have to fear is fear itself like President Roosevelt. So we can do so much better. We've been on a dangerous detour from America's destiny with this president, and we're going to get back on the path that leads into the future and gives us a chance to believe in ourselves again. And I have to tell you, I am thrilled at the prospect that I could be the first woman president of the United States. Running for president because I'm a woman. I'm running because I think I'm the best qualified and experienced person to hit the ground running to do the job. But it is humbling, and it is daunting, and it is thrilling. As I travel around our country to hear the hopes and dreams of people of all ages. I had a woman, I was in Manchester, New Hampshire. It was back in February. She stuck out her hand and she said, I'm 95 years old. I was born before women could vote, and I'm going to live long enough to see a woman in the White House.